Welcome back to the demonstration. In this scenario, we are going to continue to build an end-to-end solution that we have taken for a business requirement, Nexus HA. So as per practices, business stakeholders give the requirements, we'll translate that into BRD, we agree upon. After the acceptance, we, as a solution architect, we translate that to HLD. As a solution architect, we once again put effort to build LLD so developers can understand what they are going to be building. We also highlighted that the contract first approach helps you to parallelize your development. Do you want the development, design, testing to be carried forward parallelly? Yes. Then place a contract as a wall. Otherwise, there will be a dependency. I will wait till the development continues or completes. I will make sure that API endpoints are available so that I can start the design. We don't want that to happen. So contract first approach is always a preferred way to parallelize the ALM activities. Yesterday, we have used the LLD, translated that into OpenAPI specification. We went to the Swagger to check how the OpenAPI endpoints are going to look like. We now got 5 different services: identity, patient, doctor, auditing, and audit logs and the branches. Perfect. We got the UI design also built. So your executives got to see that how the prototype is going to look like. They can just quickly walk through. Yesterday we saw the prototype also. Now as a designer, I will be exporting them in the form of a HTML, zip file, MD file, so that developers who are going to build the UI take this as a reference, feed to the AI, start development. Either you do the server-side development using Razor or pure client-side development SPA. It doesn't really matter. Developer, previous generation, developer design the UI. They are always friendly to the developer only, not to the end user. Developer come up with the UI. He will place a button here. User will ask, why the button here? Very easy to move the mouse now. That is the developer thinking. Designer thinking, UX engineering is a separate field altogether. Companies, you just saw a week back, Google changed the Gmail logo. One small color has been added. The color has been now removed. So they put efforts, spend millions of dollars. So the point is that UI, UX plays crucial role. Good. Now as a developer, how am I going to build these services? Backend services. Backend developer, front-end developer. Sometimes you would act as a full stack engineer. You should know both of them. In the modern days, expectation is that you cannot say that I'm a tester. I will do only testing. You will be replaced. No, I'm a full stack, I'm a backend developer only. I only do coding .NET. You can never say like this. You own the product. From the concept, from the inception till the death of that particular feature in our product, you are the owner. You own it. Anything you do, you must take the responsibility. From the design to development to testing to packaging to distribution to release to CI/CD pipelines to anything. So now we segregate people by their technical abilities. I can see the current scenarios. Going forward, we will be splitting by people by domain knowledge, what they have got, what they can own. Okay. Have we noted down these URLs? Just a second. It is working around. Let me check that. Okay. So these are all the URLs. Okay. AI automation required. Take a photo, give it to ChatGPT, it will give you the text file. Manual work should be avoided. Okay. Right. See, he's taking photo of me also. We'll not only get the creation, we also creator as well. Okay. Right. Let's come to the point. We have now opened up the Visual Studio Code, our project E2E. We now have docs. We have specs. Let's go to our stitch. So honestly speaking, how many of you tried yesterday going back home or somewhere used Stitch, Google Stitch? Honestly, no? Oh, you should try. I would suggest that you go and try. So these are all the screens we have designed yesterday. This is the prototype. Okay. Now we are going to select all of them. Totally how many screens? 8, 13, 17, 18. The one which is shown here is a design system, nothing but the color palette, those aspects. All others are screen. So all others follow the same design MD, nothing but the design spec. So I selected all of them, trying to export it as a zip file. If I say export, is it allowing me to export? Okay, but these guys have got the 16 screens only can be exported in one zip file in a given program. Now it is allowing. So now see that in the morning I exported 3 to 4 times. Cut. Go to the E2E docs, UI mockups. Extract here. Okay. Now all folders represent the screens. They have code.html which showcases how the UI for how to add a new doctor is present. And there is a folder called design system. See there, Nexus HA Clinical Admin design.md. This particular design.md basically talks about the color palette and the design spec. It's a very standard file. Design.md is a very standard file. Brand and style, color, typography, layout and spacing, elevation and depth, shape, component. It's a very standard file. So first what you do is that you feed this to the AI when the development starts, so that the AI understands, okay, this is the way the coloring, this is the way layout, this is the way spacing to be done, this is a layout. Then you feed screen by screen, saying that refer this HTML, this is the way I want the add doctor screen to look like. It understands. then it will follow your question saying that whether you want to build a React application directly or the simple HTML or simple Next.js or Angular or Vue.js or Razor server-side UI. It will do exactly as it is. Otherwise, if we simply say that design the UI, on what basis it will design? GitHub Copilot or a Sonnet model or the Opus model, they design it, but that may not be acceptable by the end user. So what I would say is that there should be a contract between the developer and the designer, or there should be a contract between the UI architecture team and the end user who wants to own the product. Hey, this is the way we are going to have a UI. Are you okay? No. Go back and revision the design, your Google Stitch. Modify. Accept it. Review and accept it. Approve it. Then come to the development. Right. So now we have got all the UI mockups ready. We are going to create a folder called backend. We are going to create a folder called docs. What are we trying to do? As per the yesterday's OpenAPI specification, how many number of specs we generated? Audit, BFF, branches, doctors, identity, patients. So totally 6 specifications. That means we are going to be having 6 different distinct services. Correct? How are we going to implement this now as a backend developer? As a .NET developer, how are we going to implement this? Right. So I'll open the Visual. Let us update. Every day they release new version because of the requirement. So there is a heavy competition in the AI world, especially who is supporting the best coding agents. Whether it's a Cursor or the Visual Studio GitHub Copilot or the Lovable or the Google Gemini Studio or Anti-Gravity. Okay. See this. New session. Planning mode. Okay. Opus 4.7. For thinking, Opus. For doing, Sonnet. If you have good credit available, I have another 28% is credit available with me. So I can utilize fully. First, we do have a spec folder. So, can you, hi, let me write down here in the notepad so that we can comfortably see. Sorry, what is the question? Remain same only. No problem. No problem. Yeah. Agents are going to be using model only for their reasoning and their actions. Agents are the one going to the work, and all the context what we have got is agent is holding. For every time you switch the model, whole context will be sent. Whole conversation history, everything is sent. Hi, my name is Ram Kumar. I would request you to analyze and understand at the docs folder, which has set of OpenAPI specifications provided by my platform architecture team. So I'm giving the explanation say that understand what are the specifications we got in our docs folder. given by my platform architecture team. My platform, which is named as Nexus HA, which is essentially keeps track of and manages patients and doctors for an hospital which has multiple branches in a country. Okay. My product name is Nexus HA. Architecture team has given some specifications. I want you to understand. Note, do not analyze at the low level, just grab at the high level. As usual, do not assume anything on your own. Clarify with me for any kind of choices you make. Okay. I don't have to say, do you understand this requirement and all, because it is a simple thought. Analyze. So when you start doing the work only, you should verify that whether it understood or not. What do you want? So I can easily copy the entire prompt file and put them into prompt folder. I'll be zipping this into, put them into GitHub or as well as Google Drive. So you can download it. The user is asking for a high level analysis of the docs folder. So I'm starting my examining structure and contents. I need to connect my understanding. I need to correct my understanding. So I'm using specs folder also. Okay. You mentioned docs folder has OpenAPI specification. Should I focus on the docs folder or specs folder? So ideally we have a specs folder. So we tell him the OpenAPI files actually live under specs, while docs holds a BRD, HLD, LLD mockups. Which set do you want me to anchor on? Actually, we are supposed to focus on the OpenAPI specification, only specs folder. I'm planning mode, so I'll capture findings into plan rather than write the code. What should the plan ultimately enable? No. Just a high level understanding summary, no follow up work on yet. How deep the high level read go? Stay at the decision capability level, no per endpoint detail and all. Yes. The BRD is a docx file. Should I attempt to read it? Rely on the HLD, ADR, LLD, which already reference it. Rely on HLD, ADR, LLD. Okay. Okay. It just explains what it understood. Let us read what it understood. 6 OpenAPI specification, 3 documents, one per deployable, all speak JSON, all return errors with the Nexus extended code, trace ID and all except the token issuance, and JWT requires a bearer JWT. OpenAPI specification for identity, patients, self-hosted admin identity provider, patient master data, doctor master data, branch reference master, append only ledger, backend for front end, versioning, pagination, concurrency, idempotency, some high level details that we already captured yesterday. Capability, notable callouts. Patients, doctors never authenticate, admin only platform. So we are getting on simple administration portal. Branches has no cross DB FK. Referential integrity enforced at the right time via API check. Surfaced at the B422 branch unknown. BFF deliberately doesn't redeclare upstream schemas. Proxied response are typed proxy 200 2x problem. Okay. Doctor document storage path is opaque. You told the doctors can upload the documents. Where will I go and store it? Where is the document path? The document storage. Are we going to put them into Azure Blob Storage, or are we going to dump into the folder, local folder, or database itself? That information is unknown to me, is opaque. Backend storage is provider specific. Audit rights are idempotency. Key required. Reads are paged and filterable. I kept strictly at the capability level as you asked. Only described what is declared in the 6 files. Nothing else has been changed in your workspace. What you would like to do now? So, you first thing is that you thought AI model set. It's a new session, no, it's a completely new one. You thought, what are we going to work on? All right. Now is the time for us to write a detailed prompt. What for? 6 different services are going to be built. It may so happen that 6 different people may build it. If you are the only person, you can create one spec, one implementation plan. But if 5 people are going to be building, definitely we have to have 5 different specifications. Right. As you are an experienced solution architect, I want you to come up with the implementation plan to build these capabilities. Do I have to say .NET? No, it's already there in the LLD. Do I have to say which endpoint? No, it is already there in the LLD. What is the request response function? Everything present. Then what else we want? We just have to say that how are you going to implement this? For that, there are some spec. As you are an experienced solution architect, I want you to come up with an implementation plan to build these capabilities. So, as I am a developer, I would be able to build the complete features listed in OpenAPI specification and LLD. I would like to have the following points. I want you to ponder the following points. Number 1. Each service is an independent service implementation which doesn't have, which I don't want any references or sharing between or among them. Each service should be built with the .sln and .csproch. After A starts writing code for you, does it really matter what is the programming language you are going to be using? Actually, no. Why are we still preferring CSproch and .NET? Because we have to maintain our existing ecosystem. And we are all equipped only .NET. Suddenly, if I ask you to push into the Python and somewhere you stuck up, the recoverability and the delivery is going to be delayed. So I would request you to stick to the same. Every service should be modularized in the way classes, components are written. Every service should be having X unit test based project also added. This is mainly for unit testing. Every service folder should be having docs folder to represent the service specific documentation generated using Redocly. That's what today morning one person was highlighting. Redocly. Launch beautiful API docs in minutes. Let's see how does it look like, because I prefer the MK docs. They have the pricing. That means there's a commercial license involved. You have to be quite cautious. I always want you to prefer all the times open source implementation, community driven, and MIT license type or Apache 2.0 license type. So how does it look like? Let's see that. Okay, I believe. I just want to see some sample. Okay, fine. We'll stick to that. Redocly only. So every folder is going to be having, every service is going to be having a folder, SRC, SLN file, SRC folder and SRC folder .cs proc file. Every service should be modularized in the way classes or components are written. Every service should be having X unit test based project also added for unit testing. Every service folder should be having a docs folder to represent the service specific documentation generated using Redocly. Okay, then every service should be kept it in appropriate folder, in an appropriate folder. For example, Nexus identity service, Nexus patient service, likewise. Okay. What else? Every folder should have some compelling files to represent the a standard structure. Like, see this, in the morning I was writing. Every service implementation, the folder must include the following artifacts. Readme.md file represents what does this particular project do. Git ignore basically says that what are the files go to the version control system, what doesn't go. MIT license, change log, what changes I've done for every implementation. Troubleshooting, suppose if there is any problem, how do I troubleshoot? What are the diagnostic steps? Contributing, to whom I am supposed to contact for any kind of clarifications. Contributing in an MD means who are the contributors for this project. Docker file, we are going to bundle, we are going to package this in the form of a container. And you should have the multi-stage build. What is a multi-stage build? You will build image with the SDK. But once the build has been done, the output, no, should be bundled in a different container image because it doesn't require SDK at that point of time. Do we require SDK in the target environment? No, right? We need only runtime. So that's why multi-stage build. And container level health check not required. Why? Because we will be always using Kubernetes to manage all the containers. Use slimmed version of container image because we don't want to use the heavy .NET SDK image which may be in GBs. You should always prefer to use Linux to deploy your .NET applications these days. What about Windows? Windows deployment, we use Windows Server only for these servers like DHP, DNS, AD, Active Directory, Exchange Server, for those purposes only. Not for your applications. For application, we always prefer Linux. What about IaaS and all? Already went to the grave. Once again, don't wake up that zombie. No, we already been using. Plan to change, then only your cost can be optimized. We are still using Windows Server 2025, IaaS 12.0, 13.0, 14.0. You have to change your mindset. No, Ram, I can change the mindset, but you have to convey the messages. How? If you use Windows, IaaS, this is the cost. If you use the Linux, this is the cost. And for next 5 years, if you do that, cost will be reduced to 40%. Immediately they say go. Until you don't prove those kind of points, then how do they will accept it? They don't have the point is that I understand your points, but I'm not very confident that you can be able to support such a thing in the target environment. You are able to understand why we don't give complex tasks to junior developers? Because we are not very confident that you will be able to take the accountability. Then something goes wrong. Why we always choose senior engineers? Because they can take accountability. Something goes wrong, they are having the maturity now, so okay, we can solve this. That is the point. So you always think from the executive perspective. We already deployed, last 10 years has been running. Suddenly if you ask me to come up and change some changes, you should showcase the benefits. If you do that, investment will be reduced to this much extent. Cost will be reduced to this much extent. Then only they will start thinking. Anyway, so we will copy this, go to here. At least show some differences. Otherwise, this will also understand this is the same. Okay. Now things are going to be very important. We need to log. Yesterday we decided Seri log, which is built on the top of a Microsoft extension logging library. So today morning I was writing, every service should have the following features. Seri log based logging, and I want to have app settings dev.json, app settings prod.json, so that we'll have a different JSON files for production settings or development settings. When the application starts, it should display all important configuration information, other important details such as host, port, health status of the database in the console colorfully. Should show the color. I want to use ASCII banner. What is ASCII banner? See this is the way ASCII banner look like. So when the server starts now, it will say that Nexus identity service, Nexus service. This is a standard practice. People generally follow. Okay. Rate limiting is by default disabled and configurable through app settings or JSON. So in the app settings or JSON, I will enable it, disable it. And how the rate limiting? IP based. Per IP, 100 requests per minute. That's it. So when it is enabled, from one IP address, 100 requests. Suppose if a same user uses a different IP address, this will have a problem. Then you have to combine. What is that? IP user. Okay. I want OpenAPI Swagger UI documentation generated. By default, course is enabled and configured to support all domains. When the service depends on other services, for example, patient service depends on identity service, it should implement retry timeout circuit breaker features. I would like to enable metrics endpoints which provide CPU, network, IO, memory, HTTP related metrics compatible to OTLP. OTLP means Open Telemetry Protocol. Modular project structure. Modularized features like a model, validator, repository, services, controllers. I would like to add separate project for unit testing, which I already covered it. All classes must be having appropriate documentation comments. I prefer redocly. As part of the plan generation, I would like to add dedicated markdown file created, which showcases how to perform API contract testing manually. Because Deep Jyoti was asking, how do I tell my testers to do the testing of these API contracts? Can we generate some samples? Can we generate URL pattern, curl, postman? So that is also added. So let me just pick, add it here. Okay. Some certain things not required, so we'll remove them. What is that? We already told unit text space, so if this will get removed. Okay. But Rama, how do I know all this? You knowing that you are typing it. How do I know? So one thing should be understood. That is where your experience is. That's where you experience over a period of time. You are attending a training, immediately got everything. We gather over a period of time through consulting, experience, development, and so. You have to have a keep searching, keep looking for, keep exploring. That enthusiasm should be there. Once you lose that enthusiasm, you should quit the IT. So, no, this is the question one person asked in the morning. Same answer only, because I have to do it in the loop. Morning one, afternoon one. Okay. Right, guys. So what message I conveyed in the morning was like this. SMEs should enforce that these rules are obeyed, carried forward to the developer level, lowest possible level. If you are started doing this slowly in the practiced manner, it will be part of your blood. So many number of things are there. I just revealed what is required for enterprise development. So for now, it should be suffice. Okay. So as an experienced solution architect, I want you to come up with implementation to build. Now last, I'm going to say that note. I want you to create different implementation plan files for every service, so I can distribute those plan files to my development team who builds these capabilities independently and parallelly. Okay. So now it's going to create 6 specification file. Do you understand my thoughts, vision? Ask me questions in MCQs with 4 to 5 options, so I can choose my preferences without having to reading writing them in prose style. Don't worry, I will share this all prompts. Planning mode still Opus. Wait a minute. We'll add one more details here. What is that? Identity service, port number 8000. Kill it. Edit from here. I had to press shift enter. Patient service, port number 9000. Doctor service, port number 10,000. Branch service, port number 11,000. Auditing service, port number 12,000. Anything else? BFF service, port number 13,000. Otherwise, this guy will assume 8080, 8081, which may be already occupied by some other well-known services. I shall provide a SQL Server connection string in app settings.json file once the implementation and testing is ready. Integration testing can be deferred till service implementation is completed. Service implementation completes. Don't immediately start the testing with the SQL Server. Once the service implementation completed, then we will see that. Till then, you verify that unit testing is working. As part of the plan and plan generation, I would like to add a dedicated I would like to generate a dedicated markdown file for every services. For every services. Wait. What am I trying to do? One second. This is not correct. As part of the plan generation, I would like to add a dedicated markdown file created which showcases how to perform platform contract testing manually. Okay, this is fine. But I wanted to have 6 different files. So instead of creating one implementation plan file, I would like you to generate. We already done that. I want you to create a different implementation plan files for every service so I can distribute. Okay, very good. Go. So now one of my prompt is, see the prompt, how the prompt looks like having so much information carrying. Fix the bug. Develop this. It will backfire you actually. That's why I'm once again highlighting that. How can you be so useful to the model? So model will exactly adhere to what you want. We always ask questions, what model can do for me? What AI can do for me? So that basically is a selfish dimension. Something should be done, always do something for us. No, we have to be helpful so that our work is carried. All right, let's see. Before I draft the implementation plans for each service, I need to clarify a few architectural. Wait a minute, what did it say? Hey, Ram Kumar, I understand your vision correctly. Before I draft 6 independent plan files, 1 per service plus a shared manual API contract testing guide, I need a few choices locked down so each plan is unambiguous when handled to a different developer, all multiple choice. Okay. It's going to ask 15 questions. You might have not seen this kind of AI development actually. Even at Microsoft also people get excited when they see kind of demonstrations. See, you can see that in my training portfolio. We'll have some training demonstrations. I take MS Agentic AI. This is the MS one. How we build it in Microsoft Microsoft Agent Framework based agent development. When they see this, from the day 1 till the day 5, basically 4 hours only, 20 hours. I never touch any code. But still people get, okay, this is the way. They get excited. So it's an experience. So let us observe what the best we can get it out of. How should 6 service folders be laid out in the repo? Top level, next identity service, the next patient service, repo on route like this? Or do you want to keep it in the backend services? We already have backend services, no? Backend services. Yeah, so backend service. This one makes more relevant. Where should the per service implementation plan markdown files live? Doc plans service implementation .plan.md or inside each service folder docs implementation plan.md or top level plans service.md. Where is that? You are going to ask 6 developers to go and build it. Okay. So how do they get it? So should I keep it in the root level or should I create a separate a directory level? Say for example, services, service specific doc folder. So let us going to be choosing the, let us choose the right decision. Where should the per service implementation plan markdown file live? Docs plans service implementation plan or inside each service folder docs implementation guide. I think that makes more sense to me. So each service will have the docs folder. Okay. But it will be created upfront. That should be okay. In inside each service SRC, what project structure should the plan mandate? Single web API project, modularized by feature, folder, features, patient, models, validators, repository, service controllers, simplest and matches your modularized by your note. No, otherwise you want to have a layer, nexus, identity service, application, domain, infrastructure, 4 CS proch. So within each service you want to have a 4 different CS proch, or should I create one CS proch which has got a proper folders? I think the first one should be ideal. Single web API project, modularized by feature. Okay. Data access technology for SQL Server. EF core with 10, code first migration, repository pattern, wrapping DB context. Correct. Request validation approach. We are going to use fluent validation, registered per feature, auto invoked via filter. Resilience for service to service calls. Patients, branches, doctors, branches, all audit, BFF all identity, JWKs. Microsoft extension, HTTP resilience, poly V8 under the hood, add standard resilience handler. Or you are going to use poly V8 directly with the custom resilience pipeline. Or V7 classic. No, we'll use the extension HTTP resilience. Metrics and logs, logging stack. Serilog, we already decided. Serilog console, rolling file, open telemetry, .NET SDK. Your note says app settings.dev production.json, but .NET convention is development production. Which one do you want? We'll stick to the same .NET convention only. App settings.development.json, app settings.production.json. JWT validation is non-identity service. Patient, doctor, branches, audit, BFF. Microsoft ASP.NET Core authenticate JWT bearer with authority pointer at the identity service. Or manual JWK fetch cache. No, we will use the same. XUnit test project per service supporting libraries. XUnit fluent assertion, N substitute, bogus for test data, convert coverlet. What is coverlet? Something new for me. We are getting some results or something like changing. Coverlet is a lightweight decorative bed covering that act as a cross between blank. No, this is not coverlet in testing. No, no, actually it went to the shopping mode. Yeah, default cross-platform open source code coverage. Coverlet. So the coverage framework. Okay, we'll use this. Slim container base image for runtime stage. MCR, Microsoft.com, .NET, ASP.NET, Alpine, smallest mainstream. MCR or Microsoft.com, that is Microsoft supported image. So let's go to the smallest mainstream. How should patient doctor branches identity write to the audit service as per the LLD audit subsystem? Synchronous HTTP post to audit service from a shared audit publisher. Resilience pipeline inside each service, simplest matches. Fire and forget background channel inside each service. In memory queue, retry sender. So we are not going to be using messaging, Kafka broker or anything between the services which it needs to send the audit, services which is going to be grabbing the audit message dump to the database. So the question here is that do you want to make a synchronous call or do you want to have asynchronous, but if the service is not available, we'll be keeping it in the in-memory. So when I restart the service, everything is gone. So outbox table per service, background dispatcher polling post. This is going to complexify, defer, leave as to do in each plan. No, synchronous, we'll stick to the synchronous. Only thing is that latency will be added. You said no sharing between services. Some things like a problem detail shape, pagination, JWT validation configuration are identical across all the 6 services. How strict you want to be? Strict. Each service duplicate this in its own code base. So what we can do is that as a SME, I will be giving something like a common instructions. All have to implement it. Only problem is that duplication. But advantage is independency. They can go on their own, self-contained. So there is a trade-off. So the trade-off will be answered with this way. How often do you change? How often do you change? Every day I change. Better you create a shared library and share it across. No, once in a while only. Once in 3 months, once in 4 months, once in 6 months. Better you can keep it as part of the service implementation itself, which is self-contained. Safest choice. Each service duplicates. Yes. Read doc generator per service. Each service has docs folder with read docly YAML, npm script, docs build that consumes the OpenAPI specification copied from the specs folder, output to docs site, or generate at the CA time, swashbuckle built in the redoc UI. Both redocly client for static site and swashbuckle UI at runtime. I think we can use the both. The manual API contract testing which you have done the markdown scope. One shared document or docs folder or one per service. No, one per service. Right. See, when you are choosing this option, no, merely you are a product manager, right? You are not a developer. Only thing is that the code is completely abstracted from us, or we don't have to really worry about. Only thing is that if you are a developer, you will be able to go inside the code and review the code, what it has written. For mission critical things, you should review your code. Some more questions asked based on my answers. Where should BFF persist the cookie? Refresh token mapping. Cookie refresh token mapping. The BFF translates cookie, server-side refresh token. That mapping has to live somewhere. In-memory cache or SQL Server table, distributed cache like SQL Server, no. Protected encrypted cookie carries the refresh token itself, no server-side store. In-memory cache is going to be very dangerous. Why? Because if something restart the container or server, everything is lost. So we will use protected encrypted cookie carries the refresh token itself for now. Ideally, you should bring the Redis or some other caching mechanisms. Doctor credential documents, PDF, PNG, JPG, you told they are going to be uploading. Where are we going to store them? LLD calls storage provider specific. For now, are we going to use a local file system, configurable path, mounted volume, or SQL Server var binary, pluggable iDocument storage with a local file system implementation, interface ready for the Azure blobs later point of time? I think this seems to be a valid one for now. So, pluggable iDocument storage, audit service auth model. The spec shows bearer auth on all paths. Confirm. Yes, audit validates the same admin JWT. BFF audit for reads services attach their JWT when posting writes. Yes. Health endpoint. Yes, we wanted to have the health. Health Z, that means the liveness, no dependencies. Ready Z, check DB, downstream HTTP dependencies, metrics, or health combined endpoint only. We'll have health live, health ready. That should be fine. Metrics endpoints required for our Prometheus. Yes, we want that. But why is it saying health Z? Health live, health ready, metrics. No, almost equivalent to what is the option first one, but I want to clarify myself. Then I want to have the health live, health ready, health. The health will return everything. Health live, the liveness, ready, readiness, and then metrics give that. So 4 endpoints. C# project baseline convention to bake into each plan. Nullable enabled, implicit using, or find a file scope to namespace. Treat warnings as error equal to true. Editor configuration included. Yes. Same as above, but treat warnings as errors equal to false. Okay. MIT license. So, do you have any copyright holder? We'll use the Nexus HA or Nexus HA engineering. Confirm .NET version. Yes, we are going to use .NET 10. Now see there, the plan has come up with generating how are we going to implement for every services. Is that okay? Plan saved. Is that okay? You can just say that implement the plan. Start implementation. Now you will be able to see that several folders are created in the backend. Only the plan, not we are not implementing identity service now. We are not implementing patient service. We are only saying that these are all the plans will be given to the developers who are going to implement them. Yes. Could you please see that? It has now generated identity service specific implementation plan and contract testing, how the contracts are going to be tested, and how are we going to implement it. See this? Now we are reviewing. How, what is the structure we are following for identity? That's what going to be followed for the other services also. Now it becomes something like definition to all developers what they are going to be doing. There's no variation, right? So this is the way the solution project layout going to look like for this identity service. Nexus identity solution. SRC folder going to have the API. Test folder going to contain API test. Docs folder contains the documentation, redoc YAML file, as well as site folder, readme, changelog, all files, CS proj baseline, and inside the SRC folder, API folder, how the things are going to be. Features, authentication, model validator, admins, infrastructure, auth persistence, configuration, app settings. Now you can imagine how the project is going to look like. So how the persistent going to be? We are going to use DB context, fluent validations, RFC 9457 problem details that we want to follow the standards, auth N and RZ for the authentication authorization, resiliency. We are going to be adding this, audit publishing, observability, startup banner, summary, rate limiting course. See, almost how the project implementation should be done. Everything has been detailed. If I feed this to the another chat window, say that can you implement this? Exactly implement what you want to do. Without reviewing this and implement it, what happens? You will get it, but that may not be acceptable to your satisfaction level, no? So that's why we always have to create the specification, MD file, review, go through them, accept it, or wherever possible, try to fine tune. Now it is generating 12 files. We have 6 services. Each service is going to have 2 files. One is a contract testing guide, another one implementation plan. Now let's look at the contract testing. So the base URL 8000, admin, the from startup or log environment. See there, for every endpoint, we do have appropriate curl, happy path, failure path. Now the question may ask, can we ask, having this particular testing guide contract, can we ask the AI model to come up with a data-driven testing for automation? What do you mean data-driven testing? I enter the value 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, minus, minus, minus 1, minus 1, null, 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 minus 1, minus 1, null. Likewise for all combinations, how does my service behave? So you can create the data-driven testing for automation as well, having this contract testing. This will take little time. Why? Because it is generating all files parallelly. 6 services. Now we are done for only 1 service, remaining 5 services into 10 files. 10 files it is generating. So it is a parallel work. Yes. See, now we can see 6 different folders are created: Nexus, Identity, Patient, Doctor, Branch, BFF, Audit Services. All of them have got the Docs folder, which contains the implementation plan and contract testing. Are we good to understand? Once you reach this level, now 6 services can be parallelly built. Of course, there is a dependency, but contract is already defined. No, doctor service has to talk to identity service. Identity service may be built, may not be built. You don't have to worry about it. Why? Because contract for the identity service is already built. I will be giving to you. If you refer them, you should be able to consume it. Why do you really worry about whether the service is working or not? Assuming that is working and test your services. Perfect. When I give you the real service for integration testing, it should work. Make sense? Right. Now is the time for us to go and implement this service one by one. So now we'll create a next video.